Hey, how's it going, everyone? How you guys doing today, where we're from this beautiful world? All right, so we got another beer and cheese, and this one, as you saw in the picture, there is a fruited sour of choice on all three of these: fruited sour, black IPA, and a Munich Dunkel. Yeah, that's it, and cheese of choice. So, I wanted to welcome my panel here: Miscellaneous Brewery Reviews, East Coast LQ Reviews, and Bumpy Road Brewery. Thank you guys for being here again. Appreciate your support and everything else. So, and thank you to the chat for showing up. John and Nilly Rock, and everyone else does that follows. So, all right, let's go ahead and start this up. Miscellaneous first.
All right. So let's start with the cheese. You might get an idea where I'm going with this. I've got this here from Boar's Head. There's Chevrolet. This is the honey. What's it? Orange? Oh god damn you, Logitech. Orange Blossom Honey Goat Cheese. Moderately priced at the right $4.59. Goat cheese usually right in the $5 range. That's it. It's a log of white goat cheese. I don't know. Honey, orange blossom infused, maybe. All right, so yeah, the beer I'm bringing is from Sandy Springs, Georgia, from Pontoon Brewing Company. This is their flotation device, Schnozberries edition. It's a Berliner Weiss, comes in at 6.1% ABV with the dope ass can art. Drip, got the drip. Yeah, it's a Berliner Weiss style with black currant, blackberry, raspberry, vanilla, and lactose. No can date. Oh yeah, it was on top on the 4-pack holder. This was 1, 12, 21, or 20, 22. Been getting some hitters from them lately. Oh yeah. I have had this beer once before, but it's like in the off air or something. I haven't reviewed it, so yeah, nice pink color on it, almost magenta, off pink head, 2 fingers, frothy tight knit. Looks pretty good.
Awesome.
I can smell the fruits off of it from here. It smells fantastic.
Oh, looks good.
I'm gonna stop using
Have you done? Is it first time doing that?
reviewing this beer.
Oh, okay.
I had it last week. We were hanging out.
Nice.
Off air or something.
That's right, because I remember.
I don't think I gave the rundown, but yeah.
Yeah.
I figured why not? Let's review it. It's
Right
one
on,
of the
bro.
better fruited sours I could find offhand.
Cool, man. Well, thank you. Thanks, Miscellaneous. All right, we got Tanner here, East Coast LQ Reviews.
All right, so the cheese I got, I believe Miscellaneous had this last week. Cabot Pepper Jack. It says premium natural cheese. This supremely smooth cheese smolders in a fusion of fiery spice. I believe they use jalapeno.
You fancy.
What's that?
I said you got the slices. You fancy, huh?
Yeah, well, it's the same price. The same price for the box, so I was like, might as well get the slices, you know. So yeah, I got got 4 slices. Honestly, kind of reminds me of like nachos, you know, with the jalapenos. And then I got a Munich Dunkel. This is Modelo Negra. It's a Mexican beer. As you can see, it says cerveza. So I believe I paid $11 for a 6-pack of these. So they're a little bit on the pricier side for Mexican beer. Yeah. Probably could have found it cheaper, but it was close to the store that I finished. So I was like, oh, might as well just grab something, you know.
I like that beer.
I've never had this, so this is gonna be cool to try. Because I do enjoy the regular Modelo. So I got my little snifter glass, pour it out.
Definitely had a few of those in my day.
Definitely brownish, reddish tint to it. White head looks like it's going away pretty quick. Yeah, mix between brown and red. or like a dark copper, I guess you could say. Mahogany, brown and red. Help me here.
Yeah, mahogany looks about right. I think so.
Looks pretty good. Lots of bubbles. Lots of bubbles. So like I've said, I've never had this before. It says medium body lager with slow roasted caramel malts brewed for a rich, smooth taste. So Best by August 2022. So it's still fresh.
Nice.
Cheers.
Cool, man. Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers. All right. Thank you, Tanner. Bumpy.
All right. The cheese I am bringing is from Roth Cheese. And it's a Reserve Grand Cru. Does have that kind of rind on it. Kind of flakes off, trying to peel it off. Does have the whatever you want to call it, the mural art or whatever on one side. I did slice up some bits there and cut the rind off. So that's what it's looking like.
There you go.
It's got a pretty strong smell to it. It mentioned there was a little cheese card at Whole Foods. It did say leather aromas. It does kind of have a leather aroma to it, but it gets pretty pungent or whatever as well. The beer that I'm going to pair with this is from Schilling Beer Company. This one's called Land Bear Dunkel. It's a rustic dark lager at 4.2% ABV. Schilling Beer Company's out of Littleton, New Hampshire. The head on this it's a little bit of an off-white head, a little bit creamy yellow or creamy white, fairly tight bubbles, kind of frothy looking on top, and yes, a very nice deep amber coloration to it. Looks more brown, but it actually does have some nice blood red amber color to it. So
nice.
Cheers. It looks much better with the
That's
kind
pretty
of
beer.
coming this
That
way
would have been a better
from
way,
what
yeah.
you can see. Yeah.
That would have been a
Oh,
better
nice.
way to describe the color of mine. Deep amber.
Deep amber, yeah.
It's full of rich roasty and nutty type aromas.
I think yours is a little bit darker.
Yeah, it looks a little
For
darker.
sure, that one definitely has got the
Thanks, Bumpy. Right on.
Probably getting that ruby at the hue bug.
All right.
It looked
Cool,
good,
man.
I drink that.
All right. Yeah, that looked nice. I like that. All right. So I got a little different thing I'm trying today, but first I'll show the cheese. It's Collier's. It's a powerful, they say, extra mature cheddar. It's made with 100% Welsh milk. That's what it looks like. The color it should be. And I had this upside down. I have a sour, well, I guess you can call it a dessert fruited sour, is what they're aiming on the name there of these. But this is one called Chomp Chomp. It's a raspberry cheesecake fruited sour by the Brewing Project out of Wisconsin, which is, I forgot where they're from, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. It's a sour ale with milk sugar, cream cheese powder, and raspberry. It's a 6.9%. It's the first time I've ever seen the percentage on the can. They usually have not been putting them on these lately. So 6.9 though. I guess if it's high enough, they're going to put it on there, right? That's a pretty big number. Let's open this up.
Oh yeah. Damn.
It's really good. I'm gonna pour that whole thing.
Like no fucking head on that.
Damn,
That's a dark one.
that thing is sick looking.
Yeah, it looks good.
That looks like blueberries. What is in this? raspberry. It looks kind of blueberry. I guess raspberry too. But it's opaque. Can't see through it. No head at all. It's like not even trying to create anything. There's probably too many adjuncts. The cheesecake powder probably screwed it up. But you can even see, we'll get into that, but it looks good. Awesome. I'm looking forward to trying this out and seeing if it works with the cheddar. So, all right, let's get back to Miscellaneous.
Dude, they make good. That one beer I had from them you sent me was fantastic.
Fantastic. Yep.
Yeah, dude. All right, so yeah, I guess let's just start with the cheese. On the nose, I don't know if anybody's had a honey goat cheese. The orange blossom honey, it sounds fancy. It's because it costs more. A little bit, I guess. They got plenty of orange blossom honey down here. This kind of just got that cream cheese with a nice sweetness to it. Really not picking up any of the goat, which I guess might not be bad. Sometimes I like the goat cheese to be a little funky, you know. A bit of the barnyard in there, which is good. Let's just try a little bit here. A little bit. Melts in your mouth, coats the palate. Very, very creamy. You do get the goat in the flavor. There's that very subtle hint of the barnyard, which is not off-putting to me. I don't mind if it's a little bit funky. I've had some funkier goat cheese. Yeah. Slight sweetness from the honey. That's pretty much it. This is not too much. This Boar's Head one, because I've had just the Publix brand honey goat cheese. I don't know if this one's bringing as much noise. It's not as sweet or robust in the honey department. I mean, you do get the sweetness from the honey, but it's not bad. On to the beer. The flotation device, Snosberries edition sour. Head is definitely settled down. Got a little bit there, still kicking a little effervescence. Very, very small, fine bubbles on the nose. Definitely pick up raspberry, blackberry. Blackcurrant's not a thing that I'm super familiar with, but I've had some beers with it. And I do almost pick up it's almost like a grapey note, like a red sour grape. This is also like the combination of the three is almost giving me like a strawberry vibe. I'm almost getting like a nose of strawberry. It smells fantastic. Looks pretty thick. It's not one of those heavily pureed ones, but yeah, still pretty good. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
So even though this is 6-1, it still kind of hits in that traditional Berliner Weiss style. The adjuncts are there, and it's got like a tart sour kick to it. It's not really puckery. Do pick up on it's the raspberry, blackberry, and the blackcurrant. Blackcurrant is coming through though, because I had from Parrish their Sip series sours, and I had a blackcurrant one. Definitely similar flavor. Other than that, I mean, it's got a light to medium body. Carbonation's about medium, maybe pushing towards the higher side. It's a little spritzy. Very easy drinking. Had 6.1. Pretty good. I mean, and it was moderately priced. I think this was a $14 4-pack. So
Not bad.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to go ahead and try the cheese with this. Got a good feeling about it. Get a nice slab off.
We got cheesers coming.
Jesus.
Cheesers.
It is like with the lactose in this and the cheese, it's very lathering mouthfeel. Because goat cheese kind of did have like a powdery finish, but the beer, the tartness, it's just washing it down. You're not really picking up too much of that. You do get that slight cheesecakey kind of deal. It's very good. Definitely a little bit more savory, sweet kind of thing going on. Tart, it's good. Not bad. It's the best combination I've had in this department. No, but I'm going to have a little bit more and drink on it. There you go.
It's in all capitals.
We were hanging out with Drunk One. Cheers, Dio.
Yeah, cheers, dude.
So yeah, I'll get some more thoughts about it and while everybody else is going. But not bad overall.
Awesome.
Definitely close, but not there, you know, like
Need more honey in that cheese. Was it a sweeter cheese, did you say? Like, did it still have its...
There's a sweetness to it. It's not like over the top.
Okay.
Not like,
right.
well, I don't know. You call it cheese cloying, but...
Right.
You can definitely get a sweetness off of it. It's not just plain goat cheese. But...
Oh, all right.
I don't know. I definitely think the regular store brand one that I had is better than the name brand one, from what I can recall. So, yeah, not bad. I'll have a little bit more of this, and like I said, I'll get a score together, some closing thoughts, but not bad.
Cool. Thank you, Miscellaneous. Right on. All right. Tanner.
All right. So I guess I'll try the cheese first. I've had pepper jack, I believe, on like a burger. I don't think I've ever actually just ate the cheese straight up. So the texture of it, it's like soft and flimsy. Like I said, it kind of reminds me of like nachos. You know, the jalapenos. So it's got a little bit of spice. Not extremely spicy, but spicy and creamy. I will say, Miscellaneous was totally right. It is a little light on the pepper flakes. I think he said that when he was talking about it. Definitely noticed that. But yeah, try this out. And, cheesers.
Cheesers. I don't know why that
A
makes
little bit
me
on the rubbery side. The spice on the back end, creamy. A little bit of a drier finish. I feel like this cheese would be better melted. Like I said, it's kind of got that rubbery texture. The spice is there. It's got some good spice on the finish. Yeah, soft, chewy, creamy, a little rubbery. Texture is a big thing with cheese for me, but it's not bad. I like the flavor. The flavor's good, but it's kind of hard to get past the little bit of the rubbery texture. I mean, these are cracker cut slices. It definitely would work well with a cracker, but the cheese straight up itself, like I said, that texture is a little off-putting for me personally. So the Modelo Negra, up in caramel, very sweet on the aroma, some breadiness and like some dried fruits like a raisin. At one point, I was getting a little bit of like a chocolate, but it's definitely not very prominent on the aroma. It's more of that sweet caramel, kind of toffee, breadiness. Now, I wonder, do you think they use an adjunct in this? Are they using Mexican corn? Because I know the regular Modelo Negra, the regular Modelo Especial has corn in it. Now, would the Negra have corn?
Maybe.
Maybe, right?
Yeah, I'm not
If it's
sure.
from Mexico.
Yeah. So
They
it might
might
have Mexican
If
corn
we're
in
gonna
it.
use corn, it'd be maize.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like the Mexican corn or
I'm
whatever,
just
right?
kidding. I know.
Maize.
But yeah, I'm gonna try this out. This is the first time I've had this. I think Bumpy
Pepper
was
spray.
definitely right. When you hold it up to the light, it's definitely amber, but away from the light, it looks a little bit darker, so a little bit more of that deep amber, like Bumpy was saying. But in the light, it's definitely an amber color. Super clear. So lots of bubbles. So yeah, let's try this out. Cheers.
Good.
I
Cheers.
still got spiciness from the cheese in my mouth, so. It's not bad. It's not as sweet as I thought it would be. Lots of caramel and toffee up front, but it's not like that. It's not like the Sam Adams Oktoberfest. That one is like caramel toffee candy bar sweet. I think the caramel on this one's a little bit more muted. The breadiness is there. The finish kind of dies off fast. There's a little bit of raisin, roasted malts. I think on the website they said chocolate, but I'm really not getting much of a chocolate. Definitely very thin. I'd say medium carbonation. I wish the carbonation was a little bit higher and there was a little bit fuller of a body to it. But it's not bad. ABV is 5.4%. And without even, I actually had the cheese a couple minutes before I drank the beer. And I will say the sweetness from the caramel and the toffee does a decent job kind of mellowing out the spicy aspect of the pepper jack. So I'm going to go for cheese before beer, right after the other.
All right, cheese are ours.
There's
Yeah, I will say the cheese is definitely something that I could see myself. Maybe you could even like melt these on a cracker in like the microwave or something, maybe for like 15 seconds or something. That would be good. I think I've had pepper jack on a burger before, but I've never just eat the cheese straight up. But cheers.
cheers.
Now I will say that the spice from the pepper jack is still prominent after the sip. It doesn't necessarily get washed out, but it does do a good job kind of mellowing out the spice. As far as them being a good pairing, I think it's all right. It's decent. It's not something I probably pair something else with this. Maybe I think maybe like a cheddar would go better with this, but it's not bad. Yeah, pretty much straightforward. The beer's a little muted. The cheese, like I said, the texture of it. The beer does wash away that rubbery aspect of the cheese. That's also a plus. Would I say it's a great pairing? It's okay. It's
You
decent.
think if you had had a thicker slice of it, it might have been better? Like a bigger piece instead of just like.
Taking a
Because
little
you know
bite.
they look kind of thin. If you thought it maybe
Yeah.
if you had like a bigger, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the cheese
It wasn't the best
a little bit
cabbage.
on the rubbery side. So I like the spiciness. The spiciness is it's a very good flavor. It's not over the top spicy, but it leaves you with a nice lingering spice. And like I said, the sweetness from the beer kind of mellows it out. They're both I'd say subpar. I got 5 more of these Modelo Negras, so I mean I'll drink them, but would I buy them again and rant and rave about them? Not necessarily. Was
For the
that
price.
We'll do some chugs afterwards. Don't worry. We
Oh, I
got
got Busch Lights for that.
Good chugger beer.
Yeah, you could chug this. I
The
would
price
say,
though is high though, yeah.
yeah, $11 for a 6-pack, a little spendy for what you're getting. No,
Yep. Maybe
But-
that.
yeah, I'll come up with a rating for the cheese. Come up with a rating for a beer. Come up with a rating for the pairing. And cheers, guys.
Cool, man. Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah, no
Appreciate
problem.
it, Tanner.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Yep.
Oh,
All right, Bumpy.
Lou. All right, I'm gonna go with the beer first. So I don't want the cheese to interfere with the flavors of the beer up front. So aromas on this one, you can see the head died down, but it is leaving some nice, lovely lacing on the glass. Very, very roasty malt, roast barley type notes. Almost to the point of being burnt. Rich brown bread. A little bit fruity. Doesn't really come off like any particular fruit. It just kind of smells fruity. That's kind of on the finish of the aromatics. Maybe a little bit of a zesty spiciness as well in the aromas, mixing with that fruit note, kind of coming off of the roasted barley. For a 4.2% ABV beer, this has a lot of aromas. It smells bigger than that. So, cheers.
Cheers.
Bobby.
Cheers and cheers. Prost. And cilantro.
Yeah, I'd go with a medium body on this one. Medium carbonation. Roasted like barley notes. Not quite getting into like a coffee flavor, but definitely like very roasted. A little bit of like almost like a charred note to it, like burnt popcorn type flavor. Brown bread's there. Telly wants in.
Hi, Telly.
Yeah, there's a bitterness to the finish. It's a little bit on the kind of like zesty side. Maybe a little bit earthbound as well. That char kind of follows through from the it seems like overly roasted barley. Once again, like I said, doesn't get into like a coffee like flavor, but it's more or less like burnt, like a carbon type note. All right, this cheese, it's a very firm cheese, very hard. Like you could probably lay this cheese down on the floor and lay on it, and you wouldn't tell the difference of just laying on the floor. So it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
The aromas.
It looked dry, like the aging. Yeah.
It's 6 months plus aged. It is a reserve Grand Cru. I don't know what a Grand Cru cheese really is, but it's definitely not cheddar. I can tell you that.
Strong ass cheese.
It does have a lot of leathery like notes on the aromas. A little bit nutty, I would say. There's almost this fruit note to it as well. It's like a pungent fruit. It doesn't really get funky, but pungent.
Leather cheese.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Out of all the cheese aromas, it's not the worst, but it's not the best. I don't know. Leather and cheese. But anyways, bon appetit.
Jeez. Nice cheesers.
So chewing it, it definitely has this kind of creamy nuttiness to it. The leather's coming in. It's kind of with that leather is kind of a bit of like balloon, like rubber balloon. If you've ever chewed on a balloon instead of blowing it up. Yeah, it's just got this odd flavor. Besides the leather, it's got this odd flavor. Nuttiness, leather, balloon. very, very like light salinity to a little touch of salt, just a pinch. It's not overly salty at all. The more I chew on it, the longer I keep it in my mouth, actually, the better the flavors get out of it. So I think as it kind of breaks down and mixes with the saliva, it starts to get this slight sweetness to it that it doesn't really have if you just chew it and swallow it real quick. You kind of just left with that leather rubber. But yeah, if you chew on it long enough and let it break down, you start to get this little bit of a sweetness. All right. Let's eat the cheese, drink the beer.
Jesus.
It's the odds we get the burning tire again.
Not quite burning tire.
Had the beer yet.
It's like a blue rubber balloon. Blue.
I'd like to keep it at that.
Specifically a blue one.
The blue one. Actually, so the nuttiness of this cheese actually enhances a flavor I didn't mention in the beer, which is a nutty flavor. Brings out almost this cashew type note out of the beer, which cashews are, I think, maybe a little bit on the fruity side too. I think they are like the seed of a fruit plant or something, cashews. Yeah, that definitely goes together that way. It enhances the flavors of the beer. Doesn't bind up anything. Well, maybe in my intestines later on, but it just works that way. Let's drink some beer and eat some cheese.
Nice. Jeezers.
Are you doing beer before cheese this time? Oh, okay.
Long-lasting notes of that kind of carbon and overly roasted barley lingers on. Eating the cheese. Yeah, that nuttiness kind of just mixes in, and then you get some of the leather and stuff to finish off with still some of that kind of carbon, over roasted barley flavor from the beer. It seems to be a bit more earthy and darker eating the cheese after drinking the beer. Eating the cheese first and then drinking the beer seems to bring out sweeter and more nutty type notes. The other way around, you kind of left with more of that kind of carbon and leather type flavor note. It's not as like fruity, I guess. A little bit more earthbound, but it still works. It's kind of like which way would you rather go, like with the umami earthy type tone type stuff, or would you rather go with like sweet nutty? The dogs want some cheese too.
Bumpy, I got a question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
So, do you have any slight saltiness? Do you have any slight saltiness in your cheese? Because
to the cheese itself, there's a very slight saltiness. It's really, unless if you're not looking for it, if you're concentrating just on that kind of leather and balloon-like note that kind of finishes off this cheese, you wouldn't really notice it. But if you're really trying to figure out whatever else you might be getting out of it, you kind of notice this very slight tinge of saltiness.
Now, does that work good with the nuttiness of the beer? Because I kind of noticed
it does. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, the cheese and the beer are working real well. It enhances, at least when you eat the cheese first and then drink the beer, it enhances that nuttiness out of the beer. Like it's a kind of cashew-like.
Yeah, I agree.
So like a nutty fruitiness. But you don't really notice it as much if you eat the cheese afterwards. That nuttiness is kind of the first thing out of the cheese. But when you have like the flavors from this beer with that roasted barley kind of carbon. Like it kind of takes away from the nuttiness from the cheese, and you kind of more left with that kind of leather finish, which then mixes with the kind of charcoal like and kind of zesty, earthy, bitter tones of the beer. So
I thought you meant you were getting nuttiness from the beer.
there is a nuttiness in the beer. Yeah, I didn't mention it at first.
Right.
It wasn't something that like it's not like it doesn't stand out. I had noticed it, but I didn't mention it because I'd been sipping on it before. It's like, there's a nuttiness to it, but it doesn't like stand out. So I didn't mention it when I was giving the flavored notes of the beer until like the cheese really like amplified it. It became like, oh, there's lots of nut flavor actually. But Kelly wants some cheese. Yeah. Well, who else wants cheese? Sadie. Cheese.
Like you tried some of that
Kobe.
cheese.
Cheese.
It's like feeding an alligator.
It's interesting. That's the first time. Like we've been doing beer and cheese for a long time. I've never heard anybody say get leather off of cheese.
Right.
Super intriguing on my end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this is not my favorite cheese. It's different, but it's like my first couple bites of it, I was like, oh man, I'm in for another big letdown. But the more I ate it, and like I said, the longer I would leave the cheese in my mouth and just chew on it and just kind of search around with the cheese, it actually has some decent flavors to it, even with leather and balloon. But yeah,
Leather and balloon. Leather and balloon. Nice though. That's good. Yeah, the Grand Cru, man. I didn't know the terminology for that. So
I had a couple of them. I knew it was something to do
that's
with
interesting.
I've had a couple beers, and it's like some of their high regarded beers, and they mix them. So maybe
Right.
The
maybe
Reserve
that's some
Grand
of their
Cru
best
cheese from Roth. If you
Great
guys are looking
growth.
for it. So
Nice. All right, man. Well, Bumpy,
the price
it
of
worked.
this sliver was $7.60. It's about $20 a pound.
Oi. Just don't get a pound.
Yeah.
That's a fair
All
bit.
right. All right, man. Well,
Cheers.
thank you, Bumpy. Cheers, man. All right. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna do the beer first too, actually. I think it sounded like a good idea. Let's get into the nose on this. Again, it looks like raspberry and blueberries or something, but I guess more of a raspberry. Milk sugar, and cream cheese powder. Definitely getting. There's kind of a well, you get the sour, of course, lactic, but the you get the raspberries pulling through, but it's also got that nice slightly vanilla kind of smell coming out. Kind of yogurty. It smells candied, like raspberry candies, like raspberry milky candies. Oh, what does it smell like? Sherbet, raspberry sherbet, raspberry yogurt, Greek yogurt with raspberry on the bottom. That's what it smells like. Most of these always do, though. Looking at it again, just an opaque beer. It had no head. It's just leaving grain, puree on the side. That's it. I can't see anything. Hello. I can't see you. I'm going to hide behind it. All right, let's drink this. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Mm.
Cheers.
Oh, man. Oh,
Sorry.
that's good.
Do some research.
That's really good. It's sweet tart for sure. It's more of a Greek yogurt fruit on the bottom kind of charm to it. I like that. I really love Greek yogurt, and I really love it when they got the fruit on the bottom. This is very raspberry forward, very vanilla forward. The body mouthfeel, body's thick. It's a good medium body. It's not full quite. It's you would think that with puree in there it would be a little more full, but it's probably on the medium side. Mouthfeel is just very it's actually very smooth, and it does in the finish it has more of that tart sour kind of yogurty bite to it, I guess, in the throat, right at the Adam's apple, or my tonsil area or something. I'm getting like a real sour kind of acidic kind of thing going on, but it's not gripping. It's not bad. It's more of a sweet tart though feel. It's thick, it's got lactose in it. The lactose has definitely beefed it up a bit along with the puree. It's really fun to drink. I just want to keep drinking it. It does definitely have that lactic acid sourness, but you definitely get like this sweet, and then you get the raspberry also are kind of they're kind of sour. They kind of have a soury kind of sweetness to them, so it really flows well with this. Very good beer. This is very good sour, man. All right, so getting into the cheese, I mean, straight up, not a yellow cheddar. It's a regular white, untainted cheddar, undyed and everything. Breaks, it just breaks, snaps, crumbly. Smells very salty. There's a saltiness to this, a salinity. It's milky, cow milk. Doesn't smell funky or goaty or anything like that. It's definitely cow. It has a tartness to it. It has a slight citrus. It's nice. Let's see this. Cheesers.
Cheeser.
That's good. It tastes like real, like right out of the teat of the cow. It's just like it's that unpasteurized kind of taste. It's pretty salty. I'm sure they pasteurize this. I don't know, but for the sake of selling it. But it's got that raw, I guess, raw taste. It's mushy. It's kind of it's hard, and once you mush it into your teeth and stuff and grind it up with your tongue and everything else, it starts to kind of penetrate through your tongue and everything in the pore area, pores and stuff starts to go through, and you're just like, wow, it's really good. It's salty. This is really good cheese, man. Holy crap. It was like, I think it was like $7 for the block. Man. Have that with whatever the fuck you think would go good with cheddar. That's a really good one. All right. So cheese before beer.
That's one.
That was good. That's good cheese. That brings out the raspberry more. Raspberry rings out. Takes away the salinity of it, the saltiness. Takes that it leaves the creaminess in there though, and mixes it in with the sour cream powder or whatever sour cream powder, sour cream cheese powder. It kind of mixes in with all that. It's real nice. Real quick, brings out the raspberry. It's got some crunches in that cheese, crystals. Unless that was my tooth. It like fell out of my gum. I got like old teeth. Yeah, it brings up the raspberry. The milkiness kind of flows into the cheese. The saltiness goes away. And you're left with this nice raw cow milk and sour raspberry kind of thing. It just like adds to it. It's an extra adjunct into the beer that just makes it nice and right. This is very good with cheddar too. I like this with at least this cheddar anyway. Sours, these dessert sours are really good with cheddar cheese for sure. All right, cool, man. I'm glad we found that out because
Cheddar and a sour. I was interested before the show started. I'm like, man.
It actually worked. Yeah, it's really not bad. I'd rather have goat cheese though. I think with this, I just like that. I like the goat flavor. I don't know what it is, and then mixing it with a sour is just phenomenal. But this is good too. Heck yeah! All right, let's get back to miscellaneous on last thoughts.
All right, so last thoughts. I did go look at a couple things about what was going on with my beer, and I did have some other flavor notes that came up. So yeah, for the Boar's Head, the Orange Blossom Honey. Not my favorite honey goat cheese. Like I said, I had Publix store grocery brand honey goat cheese, and I thought it was better than this. This is still good. I just thought the other one was better. I'd probably land, like I said, it was sweet. There's a sweetness to it. Definitely getting the slight goat barnyard on the flavor more than on the nose. Creamy, rich, decadent. Definitely as it sits and warms up, I thought it was going better with the beer. We'll get to that in a second. Score on the cheese, I'd probably put it at 87. Not my favorite goat cheese. I don't think I've scored a goat cheese that low ever. Not saying that this is bad. I just don't think that should be drawn to the Boar's Head brand. Don't underestimate your local stores. So, yeah, not bad. Not out of this world either. For the beer, so all right. So I did some looking about the black currant, right? So I came up with this on a website. I'm not going to share the screen, but it says black currant is a berry grown in Europe that looks like a small purple-black grape, but it's not a grape. When fresh, it tastes tart like a passion fruit with dark berry flavor, not unlike raspberry. But it is distinctively earthy, while dried black currants are sweet like grapes in raisin-like quality. So after I read that, I did start sniffing on the glass. This kind of died out, so I went to the can. And I do pick up, there's an earthy passion fruit kind of note to this. So I would assume, based on what I looked at, they were using fresh black currants, which not cheap because they're imported if they only grow in Europe, right? So the beer by itself, you definitely got all three of the adjuncts. The vanilla could have been a little bit more on there, but I just think it might have been too sweet and overtook it, even though this wasn't as tart or sour of a beer as I'd have liked it. Still there. Like I said, the sharpness of the blackberries, the raspberries, the black currant. Very good. They didn't overdo it with the lactose. It helped with the body of the beer, because it's a Berliner Weiss. You need something traditional. They're pretty light beers, so not bad for Pontoon. I would definitely I'd put this around like 92. It's very good. If this was like if they pureed this would be out of this world probably. So yeah, when I put the two together, it took a little bit. Like I said, once the cheese started to warm up a little bit, it was a little more pliable. I think the pH of the beer, the acidity of the beer, broke down the cheese and got rid of that powdery mouthfeel. The beer kind of held its own one-on-one with the cheese. It did, you're adding that extra creamy milk in with the sour. It was good. But on the finish, I was getting literally like vanilla yogurt with fresh strawberries. It was really good. So on the combo, it did end up coming around. It seemed a little lackluster at first. This definitely goes together. I'd score it at a 93. I'm going to go with 93. I don't want to go higher than that. It might be giving it too much, but it was good.
Nice. Cool. Shout yourself to it.
Shout outs for me. It's going to be the Thursday night beer session. I'm still debating on what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to pull the trigger soon because tomorrow is Wednesday. I might just bust something out of the cellar. I might do a head-to-head. Yeah, I'm just not sure. I could pick up 4 more products. I really just don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to keep it open. And it kind of brings a draw as well,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try and figure that out. It most likely I'm going to bust something out of the cellar. So stay tuned for that. It'll be something good. So,
Nice.
yeah, 8 o'clock Thursday Eastern.
Cool. All right.
Stout Sundays with John and Ellie, or Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Bring a stout reporter, whatever size. no more football to watch. So yeah, you just hang out and have some more afterwards. Enjoy your Sunday.
That's right.
I think most everybody else can cover everything. So, oh yeah, no, I did just drop a video too. Sorry, I went live right before this. There was the Malta gentleman, Josh Ellis. He did this fuck winter chug challenge thing because I guess it's been cold. It got cold here, so yeah, I went on there, did a couple chugs, and that was it. You can go check it out if you want. There's a bunch of people I've seen doing it, like Blue Ice and Practically Me Crafts.
Oh, Blue Ice was there?
Yeah, a bunch of people
Nice.
have been doing that. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, go check it out if you want to. He makes some good content. Yeah, I've just been getting comments from them and different beer communities. So I figure why not?
Awesome.
Cool.
Why not?
It's just a couple beer chugs. Y'all know me. Come on.
Exactly, dude. It's fun. All right, man.
Yeah,
Miscellaneous, thank you,
Thanks
man.
for having me, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, man. Tanner, you're next.
All right, so I guess I'll throw a rating out there for the cheese first. The cheese wasn't bad. I kind of found that it was really salty. After eating it, having a few slices, I actually I had 4 slices, and I had another 5th slice. I did like the spiciness, though. I did like the lingering spiciness. The texture kind of threw me off. Like I said, it would be. I feel like this cheese would be a little bit better, like melted or on crackers or on like a burger or something. So for a rating for the cheese, I'll give it around. I mean, I got it pretty cheap. They were normally $4 for this packet, but I guess they were on sale for $2. So I was like, oh, might as well, not a
Damn.
bad price. And if it's bad, I just it's only $2. I'll give it like an 85. Not a bad cheese. Like I said, the spice was good. The beer did a good job with the sweetness from the beer. Did a good job covering up that spiciness, and it kind of mellowed it out a little bit. And it was just more of like a marriage of flavors rather than that. But you still got that spiciness throughout the beer. So it's not like the sweetness from the beer completely overpowered the spiciness and completely took it away. Like I said, it kind of mellowed it out. And I like when we have similar styles. That's cool because somebody might say a flavor note, and then you kind of, if you have the similar style or the same style, you kind of look and you try to see if you pick that up a little bit. I got a little bit of nuttiness from my beer. It definitely wasn't very prominent with just the beer, but the salty aspect of the cheese, because the cheese was very salty, it kind of enhanced that nuttiness in the beer. For a rating for Modelo Negra, I think it's overpriced. $11. It's very muted. Flavor is very light. I was kind of hoping it had a little bit more of like a chocolate aspect to it, but it's more like just like caramel, toffee, bready. And even the roasted malts weren't really as prominent as I would like them to be. I feel like Bumpy's beer is probably something that if you drank the Modelo Negra and then you drank Bumpy's beer, you'd probably like his, and his probably had more of those enhanced flavors of what you get from a Munich Dunkel. And like I said, it's overpriced, $11 for a 6-pack. Light bodied, decent flavor, but muted. Carbonation was a little bit lighter than I expected. A lot of the Mexican beers have that high carbonation, which is what I like about the Mexican beers. And this one was a little bit more on the duller, flatter side, but still not a terrible beer. I might pick it up again in the future, depending on how I feel. If I could find it for a cheaper price, if it was like $8 or $9 for a 6-pack, what the hell? I might grab it again. I feel like this beer would probably work better with something else. So for a rating for the beer, I'll give it like considering the price and everything I said about it, I'll give it like an 82. And as far as the pairing, it worked well. There were some aspects that I did enjoy. So I give it like an 87 for the pairing. But I would say that I think maybe something else will work better with this. I can't say specifically what would work better. But I think maybe the cheese would go better with a different beer, and the beer would go better with a different cheese. And yeah, it's not bad. I kind of just randomly, I just kind of grabbed a Munich Dunkel, and I was like, oh, I haven't really had a pepper jack. I've never really actually ate pepper jack cheese on its own, and never really paired it with anything. I've always had it like, pretty sure I've had it on like a burger a couple times, but I've never actually sat there and paired it with anything. But yeah, like I said, 87 for the pairing. What did I say for the beer? 85? 85 for the beer, and 82 for the cheese. 83, 82 for the cheese.
85, yeah. Yep.
85 for the beer, I said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, not bad. I feel like, it's cool to do stuff like that, though. I didn't look anything up. I didn't say, hey, what pairs well with a Munich Dunkel. I was just like, let me just try this. Let me try something that I've never really had before with the beer, and it worked out, I guess, for the most part. But it wasn't mind blowing like the one we did last week. The one we did last week was really good. That was one of my better pairings. So, but yeah, it's cool to always try something different. And like you said before on your other beer and cheese episodes, it's nice when people bring different styles of cheese that don't normally go with different styles of beer, because then you can kind of get a little bit of an example of what pairs well and what might not pair well, even if it's not the most popular pairing. So that's always cool to do. So yeah, you want to do shout outs now too, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Cool.
yes.
So shout outs for me. Thursday I'll be doing another brewery review. We're going to be doing Rogue Brewery. So grab a Rogue beer, grab a Rogue Brewing Company beer. Come and rate that beer with me, and then we'll come up with you'll throw out your own rating for the brewery. We'll average it out, and that'll be the rating for the brewery as a whole, as a community. And Saturday I'll do rate that beer. Pretty much just laid back. It doesn't have to be a new beer. I think Miscellaneous was saying malt beverage. I mean, I think it's more of like a beer, so I don't know if malt beverage is probably more of, I mean, what would you guys consider a malt beverage, or like a, not really necessarily, right?
What? Malt liquor?
No, like I think that you asked if like a malt beverage or something would be considered a beer. And Bumpy, you usually don't, right? On your new brew, you kind of want people to bring specific like beer, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you got malt beverages like Four Loco and
Yeah, see, like that would probably
what are the other ones? Mike's Hard Lemonade. That's a malt beverage. Yeah,
Yeah.
those aren't beers because they're not. They don't have
It's
barley
ingredients.
and malt in them.
Yeah.
They're just other means of making an alcoholic beverage, and then they don't even. I don't think they even have hops.
Probably not. So yeah, so for Saturday, it's pretty much along the same lines as like what Bumpy said. So just bring a beer, something that has the same ingredients as what you would consider a beer. It doesn't have to be new to you. It could be something that you've had before and you never got to review it on a live stream or on a review yourself if you do reviews. So yeah, come and hang out. Depending on how many people we have, you could do one, you could do two. And yeah, we just pretty much rate the beer, talk about the beer. Might ask each other a couple questions and stuff, talk about some breweries. And yeah, pretty laid back. I got some reviews coming out that I already have pre-recorded. And I am off tomorrow and Thursday, so I'll be filming some other ones. So look forward to those. Shout outs for me. Check out Thomas Meadow 75 Wildcard Wednesday, 7:30. Who else? Food Fridays with Alex at 8 p.m. Friday. I believe it's Gushers and any type of beer, right? Bumpy? I think it's any type of beer and Gushers, right?
Yeah, it's always any type of beer, usually with Alex. Yeah, I take that back. It's a malt beverage, so yes, it would have malt in it. For mine.
Yeah.
But they don't use hops and stuff, so it wouldn't be considered a beer under the guise of beers.
Yeah. Who else? Whisky Encore. Check him out. His channel is Whisky Encore. He does a live pub. They're actually going to be going live tonight around like 11 to 12. So if you're a whiskey fan, if you're a whiskey fan, you're more likely to enjoy hanging out with him because a lot of those guys are talking whiskey and drinking whiskey. Well, I'm sure he's not opposed to you hopping on there with a beer and just hanging out, and as long as you're respectful. So yeah, go check him out. FLX Beer Reviews as well. Check him out. The guy I hung out with, his name is Dan. He's a pretty cool guy. We just recently added him to our group chat, beer community. So go check out his videos, and also Bang and Beer podcast with Anthony and his buddies. Check them out. They do a podcast, talk about beer and breweries. And yeah, I'll leave some room. And yeah, man, thanks for having me. And like I said, I know it's probably not something that people normally do, but I guess it worked out, but it wasn't the best. So cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Thanks. All right. Bumpy. Thanks, man. Thanks, Tanner. Leprechaun, what's up?
Just playing my cheese. Yeah, the cheese. I'm gonna give it an 89 out of 100. It was better than I thought it would be when I first took my first couple bites, but still not a cheese that I'm like, oh yeah, I've got to have that on my charcuterie board. You know, it's like, besides pairing this with this style of beer, I just don't know what else, you know.
It's one of those cheese you have to be in the
It's
mood
like, yeah,
for
it's not going to go well with crackers and stuff. It's just, I don't know, you can eat it by itself, but there's better flavored cheeses out there, so I'd go for those. But yeah, an 89 because it was all right. It wasn't the worst cheese I've ever had, not the best cheese I've ever had. I mean, and I don't know what style it really is. I don't know what a Grand Cru is, so I don't know how to put that into a thing. I mean, if this was like a cheddar cheese and it tasted like this, it would score way, way, way low. But it's not a cheddar, so yeah, 89 I think is a fair score for it. I think it's a passable cheese. I think there's some people that would find pleasure in eating it, especially if they like to wear leather. The beer from Schilling Beer Company, they do lots of Germanic style brews. They do a good job at it. This is a nice Dunkel. It's not my favorite Dunkel. I prefer some of the Dunkels that come out of Germany themselves. You know, you got Weisstefaner and I can't think of all the names of the different breweries, but yeah, pretty much anything that comes out of Germany is probably better than this. But still, I'm going to land it at a 95 out of 100. It's got plenty of flavors to it. Even with that kind of charcoal type note and stuff like that, it's still kind of, it all worked well. It's a light ABV beer that you can kind of still sip on. You don't have to chug it down because it's got plenty of flavor notes to it. It's got that medium body, so it's not super light. It will kind of fill you up a little bit. Yeah, it's not bad. And then of course the cheese and the beers, they worked very well together. They played nicely, giving off different flavor notes depending on if you had the cheese first or the beer first. So that was kind of cool to actually have happen, and just the way that they just worked together. Shout outs. I got my 50-point inspection videos. Put them out Wednesdays and Fridays. Monday night, I have a live show called New Brew. It's on at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, just bring a beer that you've never had before if you want to join up on panel. And if you're just going to hang out in the chat, try to bring some questions, throw some questions out. Maybe I can use a question that somebody in the chat puts up to ask the panel. So my other shout out I'll do right now, after Beer and Cheese, I think it's still going to happen. Hopefully it does. I think over on John and Ellie's channel, I should be joining him to do a little beer comparison. He has there was a collaboration that was done between Modest Man Brewing out of they're out of Keene, New Hampshire, and Fidens out of someplace in New York. So they basically took Fidens Eugene's Axe recipe, and they took Modest Man's center of attention mega recipe, and they kind of combined them to make this one collaboration beer. So Modest Man brewed it at theirs, and then Fiden brewed it in theirs, in their brewing company. I happened to get the one from Fidens today, and John has the one I gave him from Modest Man. So if that's still going to go on, it should be after Beer and Cheese ends. So I would say probably about 9:30ish. I believe it would be on John and Ellie's channel, Georgia Beer Reviews. So that should be happening shortly, if it is.
Cool.
I'll have to see if he's still awake. But
nice.
But look for that, anyways. Cheers. Thanks,
awesome, man. Cheers. Yeah, man. Cheers, man. All right. Well, the cool, man. The beer, man. Let's the beer, man. So just a really good sour. I was really worried about it because when I first had it in here before I opened it was very smushy, and it didn't seem like much was in there, and there wasn't actually. It was no carbonation. So it was very flat, but it really made up for it with the puree and all the other flavors. It came out pretty nice. It did have some carbonation actually. But just a great, outstanding, actually, fruited sour, pastry sour. It was very good. The raspberry, the cheese, the cream cheese powder kind of came through as well. As it warmed up, you get more of the cheese, the cream cheesy kind of thing going on. And it really absorbed the mouth with flavor and everything. I'm going to give it a 9.6, 96 out of 100. I thought it was delicious, up in the realm of like freaking Drecker and a lot of the other ones I've had from other companies that were superb. It was a very good beer, flavor wise and everything. I got an ant. Damn it. Get out of here. Make my cheese smell like Raid. Okay, so my cheese was salty. It was milky. You guys heard it. I'm just going to go ahead and give it a score. A very good cheese, though. Not bad at all, actually. It was very raw kind of unpasteurized kind of tasting. It was very straight off the teat, kind of like I said. It was very nice there. I like that raw kind of just natural tasting. Very good cheese though. 95 out of 100 for that, and the pairing was just absolutely amazing as well. The saltiness from the cheese kind of went away and brought in more of that raspberry punch kind of aspect. And along with the like a kind of a vanilla cheese, cream cheesy, and then like a vanilla. It was just so it really kind of came out well. It went in well with the cheese. It really melded perfectly, I think, to some degree. I think goat cheese melds better with this than this, but it just, I don't know, this particular cheddar went very well with it. So very happy with that. I'll do a combination score of about a 96 out of 100. I think that'll do. I think it was a good mix. So I think goat cheese and the sour in the past, I've given them quite a bit higher. I went a little higher than 96. I think it was like 98, 99, and even 100 on some of them. So goat cheese is definitely a go-to for this particular style, but cheddar works. Beer and cheese next week's going to be an open table, so open one. So just bring what you'd like for that, and we'll probably do like open ones once a month. So consider that once a month. And yeah, bring whatever you'd like. Bring it to the table. 8 o'clock Eastern, the same time as today. And Wednesday, 5 o'clock Pacific, if you're on my side. Wednesday will be anything bready. So it'd be I basically showed a picture of a loaf of fucking bread. And that's what you had to go off of. So I don't really care what it is. It can be some weird funky saison that tastes like French bread or whatever. Just anything that's like bready to some. I don't care. Not bread and Mices though. It can have it in there if you want it. I don't care, but just have a bready beer. And that'll be at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, my time. And the rest of the way through is just brewery talk coming along as always as we're getting there, finishing touches, and just got the hood rain. The rain showed up today. It was kind of a bitch. Don't try to do that by yourself unless you can handle it. Kind of heavy. You got to hook it on the little screws, and you're sitting there with 2 ladders, and I'm like trying to figure out what to do. Oh God, it's up there and it's gonna fall, and almost fell on me once, and I was like, oh dude. But yeah, that was real fun, exciting. It works. So look out for videos as well on my end there. Did we mention, you mentioned Alex,
Gushers, yeah.
Yeah, the Gushers.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then Eric's show on Wednesday is 4:20, 4:30 actually, Wildcard Wednesday for that. So, all right. I think I'm good there. You guys have a good night. Thank you, panel, for being here as always. I'll just leave it where we're at. And also thank you to the chat for being here, man. Good looking honky. What's up? How you doing? Beerman gentlemen. Hi, Peter North here, old adult film star. They used to call me. You're the beer man.
Jeez.
That's awesome. And Vanessa just showed in. Cheers to you. Cheers, Vanessa. All right. I'm glad everyone came in and popped in and supported. So thank you so much for being here. And we're gonna go ahead and shut this off and get on with it. So let's do it. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.